So in these past couple of videos, you've been hearing a lot about the EMA Coordinator, which is just short for the Ecological Momentary Assessment Coordinator. I just want to take a moment to talk to you in a little bit more detail about what they do and why they're so important. Now, the EMA Coordinator is the tech support hotline, essentially. So if there's a problem, the participant can contact them if they're having trouble with a device, if they're having trouble taking a survey, if they have a question. Also, the EMA Coordinator will contact the study participant within the first couple days of their appointment when they've been trained, just to make sure that they've got everything under control. If they have any questions about the study, make sure there's no technical problems. And during that call, they'll also arrange a time to meet with that study participant. They may use that meeting to collect an iPhone back if the study participant is borrowing an iPhone. But more than that, they're going to meet with them so they can give them their compensation, regardless of whether they're borrowing an iPhone or not. We like to compensate the study participant for their time, and the EMA coordinator is going to contact them and arrange a time to do that. Now, the other thing that's really important to note is that the EMA coordinator is also really important because they help prevent survey fatigue that can lead to bad data. The study participant has to do 6 surveys a day for 9 days. That's a lot. And usually after a couple of days, most people start, not doing the surveys because it's kind of tiresome. So, the EMA coordinator is there to track that and make sure that if a participant stops logging data, they know about it and can contact them and encourage them. So, when does that happen? Reminders happen from the EMA coordinator to the study participant after they've missed 2 time blocks in a row. So let's say they've missed 12 to 2 and 2 to 4 on a given day. An email will go out to the EMA coordinator, and they can then go and log into the online data management system, find out what's happening with that participant, look up their contact information, and then call them. So that's what happens once 2 consecutive time blocks are missed in a row. Now, that's important. It has to be 2 in a row. So, for instance, if I'm a participant and I miss my 12 to 2 block, and then I do my 2 to 4 block, but then I missed my 4 to 6 block, that's okay. That's permitted. It's when they miss 2 in a row that it's an indicator that they're getting kind of bored and don't want to do the survey. That's when a message goes to our EMA coordinator, and that's when they log in and find a time to call the participant to just encourage them to fill out the surveys when they get the text message reminders. Now, that may not work all the time, so the participant might need extra reminders. And if a study participant misses 2 time blocks in a row for 2 days in a row, that is when an EMA coordinator may call upon a member of an organization that recruited the study participant to contact them and just give them a little encouragement. So we may ask for your help to send a few extra reminders to the participants if they have missed 2 consecutive surveys in a row for 2 days in a row. Now, that's kind of an overview, but let me get into a little bit more specific detail about what exactly it is that the EMA coordinator does. So if an EMA coordinator is in the online data management system, one of the things they're going to check out is they're going to go to coordinator, that's for them, and they're going to go to EMA data. And here they're going to see a summary of some useful information. They're going to see the tracking ID. They're going to see the site that the particular study participant is affiliated with, basically who recruited that participant. They're going to see the assigned EMA coordinator. So for instance, if they are working with a particular study participant, they will see their online data management system username listed here in this table, in this column. They'll also see the EMA status. For some, it'll be active if they're actively filling out surveys, and for others, it'll be completed. Once they've completed it, the EMA coordinator will go into participant information. They'll change the EMA status from active to completed, and that way they know they don't have to worry about that study participant. Next column is missed consecutive surveys. Hopefully most of the time, missed consecutive surveys will say no. It'll just say that the participant is filling out surveys when they need to and there's no problem. But if a study participant misses 2 time blocks in a row, that no will change to a yes. So that way, if a EMA coordinator gets an email that says a study participant is not filling out their surveys, they will go in, they can look at the EMA data table here, and they will see missed consecutive surveys, no or yes. And that will tell them who among their group of people, because it might be tracking multiple people at the same time, who among their group of study participants has missed consecutive surveys. And then these two columns are pretty self-explanatory. It shows the number of surveys that have been completed today and the number of surveys that have been completed yesterday. So hopefully this will be 6 most of the time for surveys completed yesterday, because that's how many we want them to fill out. And then we'll see how many surveys they completed today. And that's just useful because it kind of gives a context for the study participant, whether they, maybe they just missed it because something happened and, it's not too big a problem, or whether they're just not filling out the survey and they need a couple different calls per day to get them to fill out the data that we need. Now, one thing I can do as an EMA coordinator is if I want to get more detailed information about a particular study participant is I can click on the tracking ID over here on the left of the table. That will take me to the EMA survey information page for that particular participant. And then I can enter in a date range so I can pull up all the records for that range that I select. So for instance, let's say I want to see everything that's happening between March 18th, 2012 and March 23rd, 2012. Enter that in, select save, and I get this table that shows me everything that's been happening with this particular study participant. And it shows you the most recent records first. So what this is telling me is that in the past few days, this study participant hasn't completed any surveys. However, the last one they completed was on March 21st. They got a reminder at 2 p.m. and at 2:35 p.m. they completed a survey. Here, that same day at 12 p.m. they didn't complete it, but at 10 a.m. they did complete it. Now they didn't do it till 10:44. But so you can see that this is kind of helpful, so that if a participant is not filling out surveys, an EMA coordinator can go in, search their records in the online data management system and get a much more detailed history so they have a context so that when they call them, they can say, look, you're missing survey time blocks at this time and that time, and we really like you to try and fill it out every time you get a test message reminder. So at this point, as an EMA coordinator, if I had all this information, I could then go in and I could select participant information, and I could see the contact information and latest event records, which would show the latest communications with that study participant. I could see that all here, and then I could contact them. And then after contacting them, I would need to log an event record. So here we are back at the event record web page. As an EMA coordinator contacting a participant, I'm going to use these event records that we skipped in the previous videos, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So if I contact a participant about missed survey time blocks, I'm going to log record 14. 9-day assessment, EMA coordinator to participant, contacting them about missed survey time blocks. If I have to contact them for some other reason, for instance, to get their iPhone from them, I would log 15, this one. It shows that as an EMA coordinator, I'm contacting the participant for some other reason. Now, if the participant contacts me back, we want to log that too. So anytime there's an interaction between a staff member on the project and a participant, we want to log it. So in the case of the EMA coordinator, it can be me contacting a participant to say that they've missed survey time blocks, or me contacting them for some other reason, or it could be the reverse. It could be them contacting me about missed survey time blocks. Maybe they're saying why, and that would be important to log because that'll be important information to consider when we analyze their data. Or maybe they're contacting me for some other reason. Maybe they're having a technical problem. So, as an EMA coordinator, I am using these records often if I need to contact a participant. So, anytime there's communication to a participant or from a participant, the EMA coordinator will log it as an event record using one of these 4 codes. And as we talked about in an earlier video, if they call upon an organization to contact a participant to help them out, that organization will use these codes, Community Coordinator. Other records I want to note quickly is Number 22, study completed. The EMA coordinator will log that once the study is completed. So after the 9 days is done, the EMA coordinator will make a note of that just so we know, okay, this was the date at which we stopped delivering the text message reminders and stopped completing surveys. And then over here, we also have the last one, which is 9-day assessment other. That's just a random category that we could use just in case there's something that we're not categorizing here in these event records, but an event record still needs to be logged. So if there's some other random situation, the EMA coordinator can use 9-day assessment other to log an event record for it. So after the study is completed, what will happen is the EMA coordinator will contact the study participant, find a time to meet. They'll give them their compensation, and if they need to, they'll collect the iPhone back from them. One last thing that's important to note is that we'll try to be as fast as we can, but it's good to give the EMA coordinators 4 days to collect an iPhone from a participant, reformat it, put in new information, and get it ready for the next participant. So that's the turnaround time. So it takes about 4 days. So that's it. That's the last video, and hopefully now you're ready to work with the study participants as a part of this ecological momentary assessment project.